Great Kids Farm, and we're going to be giving out some seedlings for home gardens coming up in the next couple of weeks. And when you get your seedlings at one of the 18 meal sites in Baltimore City, you're either going to get a tomato plant, which looks like this, these are both tomatoes, or a pepper seedling, which will look a little bit like this. And when you first get your plant, you want to take a look around the pot and look for the label. The type of pepper or tomato will either be labeled on a tag like this. This is a big beef tomato. It's a great big red tomato that's really good for sandwiches. Or it'll be written on the pot in Sharpie. So hopefully your plant will be labeled so you can figure out what kind of variety it is. So next, how do you care for your plant once you have it? So the first thing that you should know is all plants need a few things to grow. They need water, so you want to make sure that the soil stays moist. Depending on where you put your plant, that might mean watering it every day if it's in a really hot and sunny location, or it might mean watering it every few days. But you'll want to check your plant regularly by sticking your finger in the soil and making sure it has a little bit of moisture. You also want to make sure your plant has plenty of sunshine. So if you do choose to keep your plants indoors, you'll want to put your plant in the sunniest windowsill that you have in your house. So that would usually be a window that faces south. So your plants definitely need water and sunlight, but if you want them to make a lot of fruit, if you want these tomatoes to produce tomatoes that you eat and the pepper to produce peppers that you eat, you're going to have to transplant your plant into a larger pot. So let's take a look at these tomatoes here. These tomatoes are really ready to be transplanted into a larger pot or to go in the ground. And if I pull this tomato out of its container, you can see all of the roots there. And when you see the roots like that and the plant comes easily out of its container, it is ready to go into a larger pot. If you don't have a pot, think about some containers that you could use at home. Maybe you could use an old milk jug that you cut the top off of, or an orange juice carton. Those would be big enough for a small pepper plant. Take a look at containers you have at home and think about how you might recycle them into a pot. So it doesn't need to be round either. You can plant your plant in any shaped container. So feel free to be creative. Now, you'll want to fill your pot with some soil. So what I have here is a soil mix that is a container growing mix or potting mix. So if you go to the store to look for soil, look for something labeled potting mix. And that's a type of soil that you can use to grow plants in containers that will have enough nutrients for those plants to grow. If you have an outside garden, you can of course plant your plant directly in the ground in the actual soil. If you leave your plant inside, it will still grow if it gets enough water and sunlight. You might even see that your plant begins to flower. This tomato plant has started to flower. That flower is the first step in producing fruit. But I just want to tell everybody that it will be difficult to get your tomato and pepper to actually get to the producing fruit, producing the tomatoes and peppers that we eat indoors. And there's a few reasons for that. One is it might not be getting enough sunlight to make enough food through photosynthesis for that plant to really grow strong and healthy to produce fruit. But the other reason is that this flower might not get pollinated indoors. So if it doesn't get pollinated, it can't actually produce fruit. That's been your introduction to tomatoes and peppers from Great Kids Farm. We really hope you enjoy your plants.